Hey everybody, Carson here. I'm back with my second Partners and Son grab bag video. I've done one with Partners and Son and one with Monaco at Escape Pod Comics, so we're back to Partners and Son. They're a really great source for small press and independent books, so I like going to them to really get like a pulse on people that are coming up. I've given them say, oh, send me about $100 worth of stuff, so $100-ish budget, and they just send me a bunch of books. They're really good at sending me a ton of stuff, um, because they have small press zines and whatnot. They can send me a whole bunch of books. So this video is going to be split up into three parts. This first part will be books that I didn't really like. I normally, when I'm doing reviews, I don't like to give a number value because I don't think that's very descriptive of books. I try and just give an opinion. I think that's more valuable as criticism. But for these videos, I'm trying to give the retailers a sense of my tastes. And so I'm applying numerical values that say, how excited I am to own this thing, have it on my shelves. And then part of the game we're playing is over time, seeing if they can tailor their packages more towards my tastes. But also I've left it open to them to hey, if there's stuff that even if you don't think I'm going to like it, but you think people need to see, send it along. So that's what these numerical values are about. I'll try and explain what my feelings about the book are, my thoughts about the book are as well. So in this first video, it's books that I didn't like, but remember, if you come across this and it's one of your books, it's just stuff that's not for me. It doesn't mean it's necessarily bad work. Go Deeper by Gregory LeBold is a good example of everything I hate about comics, unfortunately. I mean, the art's all right in it. It is what it is, but this, I think, is the lowest that the medium can go. I know a lot of people want to think a dumb adventure comic or a stupid superhero comic or whatever, but those usually have a level of artistry and craft somewhat, the writings can be pretty bad on a lot of superhero books, but they're at least trying to entertain. This self-pitying cartoonist doing a diary comic about their inability to come up with a story, so they're just going to complain about how much they suck and they can't do a story, and then try and make that seem clever. It was maybe interesting the first time it's done, but guys, how many times can we play this trick? It's not interesting. It's never been interesting. Ugh, why am I such a useless, lazy turd? I feel crappy when I started drawing this. I don't want to go down this hole with you. And then he goes, well, I'm up my own asshole now. So he knows what he's doing is staring down his belly button, staring up his own ass. It's pretentious, and he's trying to get over the fact of the pretension by making fun of it, which makes it even more obnoxiously pretentious. The self-awareness of it all, and then I'm gonna come and beat myself up and then shit myself back out as my super pooper soldiers. I don't know. And then just don't be an ass or a lazy turd. Just loosen up and let go. So it's I'm not being an asshole. I'm not being a lazy turd. I'm loosening up and relaxing and letting go. And by the time I come out of that, I'm none of those things. I guess I'm the shit. So you're claiming some kind of, look at me, I did something great. I don't know, man. This is lazy turd asshole shit. And then it looks to me like some kind of attempt to justify the whole thing as artistic by doing R butts instead of R mutt, so referencing Marcel Duchamp to show that you know something. I can't with this kind of shit. This is just shit. I'm sorry. It's not even a one. And then what a relief. I'm glad I got that out of my system. Now I can keep drawing, but I sold it to somebody. I wasted paper on this. What would you like to see me do next? Diary comics about being a dad, diary comics about my dead dogs, my true life costume capers, Lord knows what that is, or more poop and other dumb stories. Questions, comments, let me know what you think. Nothing. Write some fiction. I don't want to hear about your real life. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be an asshole on this video, but this is a good example of when I talk about memoir and me and Sean talk about how bad memoir has gotten. This is what we're talking about. So, yeah. Oh, Zero. Nothing. The Weight of Prayers by Michael Comio, I believe is how you say the last name. The one thing I like about this book is that it's printed in these different colors, and the print qualities, like the tactile quality of it, is pretty nice. The rest of it, I gotta say, this just isn't for me. I think the drawing is just not there. It just looks like angsty, sloppy work to me. The writing I found to be like completely pretentiously impenetrable. There's things like this where the text runs across the border that like I'm having to bend the book out well past where it's meant to bend to read it. So you're getting a lot of gutter loss in there. There's just a lot of, I like some of the production. I think it's maybe intentionally crude, bad production. I'm not sure, but there's places like this where, like, I don't know what's going on there. That's the point that I stop. The lettering is so thick and poorly printed and like rough hand done. It was hard to read. What I did take away from what I could read of it, how far I could manage to get, the best I could come up with it. It's a woke Steve Ditko. It's like the opposite of Steve Ditko. It just feels like someone ranting about the oppressive nature of language, I think is kind of what's being said. And it ends with the unbearable whiteness of being, white worry, available to all those who believe and even some who don't. And you've got this weird kind of son of Satan character. So I don't know, man. Just messaging's not for me. Style's not for me. Bad, like that G that just gets filled back in. I don't know. This just looks like an angsty kid drawing in the notes. Here they're going on about Fellini, which is like, I don't know, you want to act like you're a cool hip kid who knows about movies. You start talking about Fellini. So it's just pretty much everything I dislike about art, and then not done well enough, to sell me on that aspect of it. So I do like the sticker, the slow-mo zine. I'm assuming picking up on his last name, Comio. So that's the most well-produced thing. I would like to see something by him with this kind of, level of attention to quality and design here. But yeah, this is a hard one for me. Don't want it, didn't like it. This is Spare Change issue 2. Mama Told Me There'll Be Days Like This. This is by Jason McQuarrins. I don't know if this is a continuation of an earlier story since it's issue 2. I don't think so. It seems fairly self-contained, but it's hard to tell. It's basically about a kid who has a really, really bad day on a bunch of very strange encounters. I found this image here to be really viscerally unsettling, so I appreciated the power of that. A lot of the rest of the art, it's like functional cartooning. Not the best stuff I've ever seen. I like the green paper it's printed on, and I like that the story ended on like a, hey, always count your blessings. But it's a real quick, just someone coming up with a bunch of crazy stuff. Nothing special about it. This is another one where I think like it's good as a student project or like someone's first, I'm always saying, I tell my students like, hey, you just got to make your first thing, and you got to make your first thing. You like get it out there, finish it. It doesn't have to be great. It's not your big epic. Just tell me a story start to finish. This is that. It's a story start to finish. They got their thing out, and so that's good. You have to appreciate that. Now, along the way, could you actually like say something or make me care about something? I guess always count your blessings is a nice little message. That's good. It wraps it up. So like it's complete in that sense, but it doesn't really land just because it's so strange. Like I said, there are some pretty visceral moments that land for that, but that's what it seems like me. This is someone who, good for them, they're getting stuff out there, and as they keep doing so, hopefully they'll get better. But I got to give it a 3. Here we've got The Beast by Danielle Chenette. This is from Entropy Editions. When I pulled this out of the box, I was really, really excited because I love this cover. I love all of the rhythm and abstraction with a bit of images in it. Like I can kind of pull a story out of it. So I was really, really excited by that. Unfortunately, when I opened up the book, it looks like a different artist on the inside. And when I'm looking at the back, it says design production by Justin Scarhus rather than Danielle Chenette. And so I wonder if this is from the Justin, because it looks like a totally different artist, and it doesn't look like this artist would be adapting their style to what's on the cover. So that was a big bummer for me. The story's kind of a cute little story about a big brother telling his little brother a story, kind of a tall tale that keeps him out of his, basically where him and his friends hang out, and that's the whole of the story. So it seems like something that maybe happened at some point in time. Little hard to read because of the way it's tape bound like this. Hard to handle the book. There are some scenes in here where the younger brother's playing video games, and they get really chaotic. And at first that was bothersome to me, that I was having a hard time, like this right here, I was having a hard time following the flow of the composition and all of the text bubbles. But then I realized, that's smart. Like, they're on one of these games with like 10 kids shouting and a bunch of stuff blowing up. So that was a good representation of that. But overall, the art's pretty sparse. It's just like a figure against a white background or a figure against some very minimal backgrounds. The figure works nothing compelling. So there's really not much to the art. There's not much to the design there. The story's like okay. I think maybe if I hadn't seen the cover, I would give it like a 4. But given the cover like preloading me towards it, I give it a 3. It's like my expectations were up from this, and then just what was on the inside didn't match at all, and so that was a real letdown. I would say the strongest part of this is the story. Well, besides the cover. Here we've got One Awful Week by Carl Christian Krumpholz. The cover looked really promising to me. Really liked the illustration style, and the coloring was really well done on it. Looking inside, you've got really good cartooning, but the first page here was kind of a warning sign for me. It's someone saying, I've been doing a daily comic since January 2020, talking about the pandemic, and that like it's a sketchbook comic. So I'm thinking, oh no, here we are with the diary comics. And then this is like a summary page here. There's 2 stories in here, and I'm assuming, given the title of the book, that it's both from one really awful week. The first story, actually, like, if you're gonna do what this is, which is diaristic comics, just about your day-to-day life as a cartoonist, the kind of stuff that me and Sean complain about all the time, this is at least an interesting story, this first one. I was sucked into it. I was enjoying reading it. He's out doing some promo shots, and he got attacked by a guy with a homemade shiv. So, like, that's, you experience something weird and different. That's interesting. I can read about that. The second one is about his cat dying, which, in combination with the first story, is like, yeah, that's one awful week. I get it. But then it just goes into blah, 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 exposition. I, me, my, us. Let me tell you about the cat. Let me tell you about every little thing about my life that happens to everyone that's not unique or interesting at all. And just on and on like that. And, this is the kind of stuff, like, it has its market. This is well drawn, well done, well made, but I don't know what this is contributing at all. Like, again, I think superhero books contribute more than this to taking comics as something worth picking up and spending time on. This just down our own asses about our own day-to-day life, especially when you're doing comics and most of your day-to-day life is like just sitting in a room and drawing. I just don't get it. I don't get the validity of this genre that our medium seems obsessed with. So it's well made, not for me. So own personal taste, I give it a 3. Okay, so that's it for the books that I don't really care for, things that I'm not really interested in having in my collection. Remember, that's not judgment necessarily on the quality of the books, just my personal taste and what I want. Tomorrow, so those are like my 1 through 3s. Tomorrow I'll do the books that I thought were interesting for different reasons, but I'm not like super excited about. So those would be my 4 through 6s, and then the following day will be the ones that I'm pretty excited to have, the seven through 10s. So thanks for following along. Take it away, Jack.
You want to see all these books? Smash that subscribe button and the like button and the bell, and then you get them.